Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Diana and I'm the owner of From My Scrap Room on Etsy. Today I am following up with part 2 of our video. I am making a small junk journal / scrapbook to house all of my collaged Tim Holtz tags that we did that I made in the class that he had this past week. So I am working on the second step, and that is to create my book. In the previous video, we did all the signatures, and I talked about that. These are not sewn together yet. They're just sized and trimmed and on standby. So these are going to be attached to the cover today. But first, we're going to decorate the cover and create the cover. I am using a manila folder. I cut it down to be 1/4 of an inch longer and wider than my book pages because I want to make sure I have a little bit of space. I used the manila folder because it has this tri-fold bottom, so it's basically a spine ready to go, and I figured this would kind of be an easy way to go. I have not done it with a manila folder before, so we're learning together, but this has a spot, as you can see, where it will do your cover. So my cover in total, I measure this out, is 9 inches by 6.5 inches. Okay. So I decided, because this was so thin, I tend to use chipboard most of the time, or even like a cereal box, not a cereal box. Yeah. Cereal boxes or cracker boxes. But the ones that I have, the spines would be way too thick for this small little book. So I'm just using this. But because it's thin, I'm going to use a piece of scrapbook paper that I normally wouldn't use. I was gifted a whole bunch of supplies at one point, and when I have scrapbook paper that I don't necessarily like or isn't my style, and it's single-sided, I will save it because I will either do masterboard collages on here or I will use it for this instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down so that I have 1 inch all the way around, because I'm going to glue it on and then cover it so that I have a little bit more substance on my folder. So I did just measure it, but I already forgot. It is 9 by 6.5. So I'm going to cut this to 10 by 7.5. I'm going to use my trimmer. 10, this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper, so I'm just going to take off 2 inches on that side and 7.5 going this way. I want to make sure there's not a logo on the bottom, on the back. Actually, I guess it really wouldn't matter because it's going to be covered anyway. I'm going to put those off to the side. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, so that's centered, I'm going to just use my glue stick all over the back of this and adhere it to this. I have somewhere. All right, never mind. I was going to say, I have a magazine that I use to glue in, but I cleared everything off to make space, so I don't really have that handy, but this will work just fine. So I'm using the Yoo-Hoo Stick Blue Magic glue. I don't need to be super careful because it's going to get covered. going to center that about, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Oops, I have a tool here that was gifted to me. It's like a scraper, but it has some felt on here, so it will help you do that. Okay, add some more adhesive here. Do the other side. And burnish this down as well. Okay, give it a good rub. Then I'm just going to refold my spine here and here. Oops. Here and here. Okay, that's where my spine is. Okay, then I am going to, with my trimmers, I'm going to miter the sides so that I can fold this in. Okay, so it's just a easy, just right across, just a snip. Okay, and then where you have the fold, you also want to take a little bit off of there so that you can fold it in. So that's why I refolded this piece so that I can see where it is. So I'm just going to take a small little sliver, It's basically a little bit from each end, the inside and the outside on each side. Oops. Here and here. Here and here. Okay. Then I'm going to close this up and glue this back in. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on here and use my tool and just slide it in. So I'm adding some glue. I'm going to do this to every side. So when you miter it, it will close up. We're going to do the same thing again with the fabric on here. But this is just, again, to give it an extra bit of heaviness, a little bit more weight, because the manila folder is thin. It doesn't matter. And then a little bit on here and on here. And inside. Okay. So now it's a little bit more substance. I could have actually even used a little bit of a heavier cardstock, but that's okay. Okay. Next, I'm going to switch adhesives and go with my Fabri-Tac. My Fabri-Tac is almost empty, so hopefully it will give me enough. If I run out, I also have the Deacon 3-in-1 glue. Okay, these glues are very, very sticky. And I oftentimes use my fingers. So I'm also going to get out some baby wipes real quick and get one of these ready to go. So I also cut a piece of fabric that I have. I have several different types. This is just a cotton. This was one of those Hobby Lobby going out of business. Let me get some green fabric situation. I'm thinking I'm going to go plain because I want to use other embellishments on the outside cover. So I'm not going to do too many different patterns for my fabric. So the cover is just going to be green. Okay, so I'm going to basically do the same thing, but now with the fabric. So I go sticky. I go direct to my cover page, the piece we just prepped. Okay. I'm checking to make sure this is going because my mirroring turned off. So, okay. So this stuff is like so sticky, but I do a zigzag pattern. Come on, work with me. Very, very sticky. I'm not sure if this is going to want to work. Okay. I am not going to go all the way to the edge of my cover because I'm going to sew it. I'm going to stitch around the edge of my book to just add a little bit more to it. But here we go. Hopefully it's sticky enough. Not really sure if that's even sticky enough. I need some more. Okay. I'm going to place this down in the middle. Lay my finger and then burnish. Okay. Yep. So it's sticky. It's stuck down, but it's not all the way stuck down. If you are not going to sew, you might want to add more glue. I generally, so not generally, let me rephrase that. I've only used the Fabri-Tac or the 3-in-1 when I've done this technique. I have not tried it with other adhesive yet. But if I do, I will let you know. If you've tried it with other adhesive, you can comment down below and let me know what you use so that I can try that too. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, and I'm going to trim the sides, give it a little trim in the middle, and then re-adhere this. Yep. Okay, so this is a little bit, it'll work. Okay. So I'm going to do the corners. That seemed like it was awfully big, but we'll see. Oh, my fan's blowing stuff around. Oh, and that was crooked. Oh, I'm just a hot mess this afternoon. Okay. Here, I really just eyeball it. Just as long as there's a little bit of a indentation piece taken out. And it's really so you don't have a bunch of bulk in that center fold where you're going to fold it up. Okay. Doop-a-doop. All right. Hopefully it has settled down more towards the tip. But I'm going to go. So it is a little longer, which is going to help me not go right up against the edge with this really goopy glue. And I can already see that I cut this incorrectly. Hopefully, maybe I can use a small little piece of extra fabric right there to cover that up. Let's see here. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so that's going to cover up the corner a little. I could also do metal corners. I don't have any right now, so I'm going to make this work. I'm going to just put a tiny little tiny piece of glue right there. Hopefully that does not stick my needle, gum up my needle at all. But stick this right there. I'm going to see if I can lift this up. Yep, I can. It's going to fix that a little bit. Okay, here we go. Again, do over. Most mistakes are fixable. So let's hope that was a good fix for that, but we will see. I am going to add a piece of cardstock in the inside, so that will cover up this little mistake right here as well. Okay, so let's keep going with this. More adhesive. Did I do the same thing on that side? I did. Ooh, I should have trimmed it down a little bit more. So I'm going to cut this in case I have more than one mistake. Again, adding that in there. I am pulling the fabric a little tight. I don't want it to bunch. And I'm going to go come on, friend. Let's go. I think I need new glue, guys. Let's see here. We're on a roll now. I should not put that upside down. Yep, this one's good. Actually, I'll do this side first, just to make sure. one has a little bit too much. Little tiny bit too much. Go. On the side. Okay. And one last spot. Okay. Okay. So now get all the extra glue off your fingers. Okay. So that's how our cover is going to look. It looks like, do I have something on here? I can cover that. Oh, it sparkles. It's all the sparkly from the class yesterday. Add a little bit more right here just to keep this down. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right. Oops. There we go. Okay. So that's the cover. Now, if you are going to cover the inside, you will want to either do that now, the whole thing, because you will see what if you don't and you just put your signatures in, you'll see the extra pieces here. Okay, so I actually have another piece of fabric that I'm going to use for the inside of the spine, and this is a striped fabric, and it's a scrap actually, and it's almost perfect. I just need to trim off, maybe doesn't even have to go all the way to the edge. I think I'm going to cut it right at this line here. And then I'm going to adhere this in the inside. And that's going to be my spine. And then I'm going to put a piece of cardstock over it. Okay. So more of this goopy glue. Take that off. If you did not want your spine to be shown, which is called a hidden spine, you would actually do your signatures into the fabric first and then glue it down this way, and then glue it down so that you don't see the strings. But I want to see the string on the outside of my book, so I'm not going to do a hidden spine. If you are interested in seeing that done, let me know, and I can work through it with you, because I've not done a hidden spine. I always have my signature strings showing, because I like it. I think it's cute, but it's just all preference. I need to see if I have more glue, guys. This is not working for me. Okay, I found another one, brand new, and it's got an opening, so it should come out. Oh, that was so much easier. I should have just did that the first time. Okay, center it, center it. Okay, so that's going to go on there, and that's the inside. Okay, now I'm going to cut a piece to go right in here. So my book size is 4 by 6, and my cover had 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch all the way around, so I made it 1/4 of an inch bigger. So I am going to cut a piece of cardstock. That is 9 inches, so that's not going to fit for both sides. This one again. I'm going to grab, that's cute. We're using the trees already. I wanted the music. I want this music paper. I'm going to use this one. And I want this and this. So I'm going to put that on this side and that on this side. Okay, so I'm going to cut this into 3 4-inch sections. Yes. 4, 8, 12. Okay, and then 6 on this side. And 6 on this side. Nope, not 4, 6. Okay, which leaves me other paper to work with afterwards. And this is going to go right in here. Okay, I think I want to do my sewing first. This way, if I have any messy spots, it will cover it up. So I'm going to need to let this dry a little bit longer before I do that. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm going to make a template for my signatures. So 4x6, I'm going to just put that up there, 4x6. Okay, I generally just grab a piece of extra paper, and you want it to be the length of your book or your signature. Okay, so I'm going to cut this to 6. 6 inches. And then I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, I'm folding it in half because I'm going to, once I mark it, I'm going to put this on the inside here. And then where the markings are is where I'm going to poke my needle through, my awl through to sew my pages. Okay, so I am going to, so that's half. Then I want to fold it in half again because that gives me the center for my book. Okay, so in half again. Okay, so in half long ways, just for the center, in half to give you 3 inches, and then in half again, because then I'll give you the top and the bottom. So this is what I have. Oops. Come on. Okay, so then I'm going to use a pen or pencil. I have a pen right here. And I'm going to mark, excuse me, the center, because that's the center of this and the center of that. Okay, and then the top hole, I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is going to be right here. And the bottom, which was that other fold, is going to be right. Oh, I can't see with the shadow. Here we go, right here. Okay, so those are the holes that I'm going to use when I do this. So I use an awl, which I bought at Ace Hardware. I'm not sure if they have different sizes. They might have smaller ones, but this is handy. At first, all I was using was a needle and my piercer, and it was a little difficult to get through multiple pages. So I bought this, and it is way easier. So I'm going to use baker's twine, or this one is twine from an old Teresa Collins kit that I had. So we're going to use it. So when you're measuring out your twine, you want 3 lengths of your book. Okay, so you can just go 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is 2 pieces already, because this had a knot in it and I just snipped it to unroll it, I mean. So I'm going to do one more set. I can just do 1. Not making too much of a tangle. Nope. There we go. Well, I'm just going to unwind it. It's fine. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm using 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Put that to the side. Okay, so the big paper clips are going to come in handy right now. So what you want to do is you're going to make sure your pages are where you want them. Okay, clip in your template just until you make your holes. Okay, with your awl, you're going to find the center hole you just made, close your book, and do not stick your hand over the top. Hold it on the sides away from where you are, and then you can just push through and you can see it makes the hole. Okay, you don't need to go all the way through with the awl, because if you see, I don't know if you can tell, but it gets fatter as it goes up. So if you go all the way through, you're going to end up with a really big fat hole, which you don't want. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing for the top. Just enough. You're going to wiggle it a little. Come on. Usually I hold this closer to my face so I can see, but I don't want my head in the camera. So hopefully you can see it happening there. Okay, and then the same thing at the bottom. Right here. And a little wiggle and a hole. Okay, so then I'm going to just remove my template and leave these pinned together. Okay, because it's ready to go. I'm not ready to sew them in yet, so I'm just going to prep these. So that's one. Actually, let me move my trimmer because I'm not using it. Move the extra things out of the way. The piercer back so I don't poke myself. Okay, there's one. And number 2. Line up your template, and because I made it even with the fold in half, and then fold in half, it doesn't matter what side's the top and what side's the bottom. If you're doing more than 3 holes, you might need to pay attention to which way your template guide went. Okay, but because I did mine even, I don't have to worry so much. Alrighty, here we go. A little wiggle, pop a hole. A little wiggle. Come on. There goes. Hole. And the last one. Come on. There it goes. I think those Tim Holtz folders are really thick, so it's made it a little bit harder to poke the hole, but they're still there. So, okay. And then the last one. In there. In there. And make sure your template's all the way in and that it's even, because that will mess you up if it's not even. There we go. Oh, I need one more. One more. Okay. One more set of holes. Hole. Second hole. And the final hole. Okay. So now those are ready. Cover this so I don't poke myself. Okay. I am going to sew this now. I'm using black thread, is what I have in my sewing machine right now. So I'm just going to go around the front and the back. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I just did just a straight black stitch all the way around. And then I'm going to add these in and just glue them in. Okay. For this, I was just going to use my art glitter glue. This does say that it art glitter, glass beads, film, fiber, and elements. So hopefully that'll be good. If you want to distress, you could do that now. I'm not going to for this one. Place this down. Use this and push the glue out. Oh, and then the same with this side. And just centering it, make sure I'm even. And same, burnish it. Okay, so the manila folder with a piece of thin cardstock fabric and then another piece of cardstock gave this more. Oh, I didn't measure. Look, I'm too long. So, yikes. Okay. Yay, me. Made a mistake. Okay. Let me see if I could fix that real quick without creating a hot mess. I think I need to take off. I should have went to the edge over here or cut this down shorter. So, lesson learned. See if I can cut this in a straight line. I have to go this way. That's where the fold is, so it folded up nicely. There we go. A little bit of surgery. Because I folded it, it has a guide. There we go. Maybe. There we go. That goes right in there to the edge. Sandpaper. And I'll take off that sharp edge there. Oops. I guess we added a little distress without even really meaning to, but it works. Okie doke. This side is going to be the same way. Needs a little bit of a fold. Is that the fold? Yep. Okay. Whew. Saved it. Alrighty. Now we're going to put these in. I'm wondering if 3 is too many. Let's see here. This might work better as a 2 signature book. What do you guys think? Or should we make it fat? Because it is going to crocodile mouth. And if we're putting pockets and extra things, I'm thinking it might just need to be 2. Well, I said 3, so let's do 3. Okay. So I am also going to Where's my template? Where did it go? Did I take it out of there? Did I take it out of? Ah, it's still in here. Okay. So this is a, let me put this back together. Do those like that. Okay. This spine is, I think it was 3/4 of an inch. Just shy of, just a little bit more than 3/4 of an inch. So this needs to be 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to find, this ruler has a 0 marker. I'm going to find my center. And then I'm going to go a 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and then the center inch, the center mark. So that'll give us 3. Does that make sense? So pencil. So this hole, which will be for one of the books, is already ready. So I'm going to go a 1/4 of an inch out. It's going to be close. And a 1/4 of an inch out for my other holes. There and there. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to make a straight line here. Really softly. And a straight line here. Softly. Okay, so then that's going to be my other 2 holes. Here, 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 and here. Whoop, here, and here. I'm going to trim off this extra. I don't have too much to look at. Same on this side. Okay. So this should fit right in here to where my holes are going to be. Center and the sides. Okay. So what I do is I clip this on and then I poke my holes. So I need an, I also have these types of clips. These were from an event, so I'm not really sure where they came from, but they work pretty good for this situation. Make sure I'm centered. I'll clip those in. Now I'm going to get my, I like to keep an old push pin. What do you call that? Like a mouse pad here, so that when I'm poking holes, I have that. And my reorganization, I'm not sure where I put that. I'm going to try this. I'm not going to poke a hole all the way through, just enough that I can probably see it. Yes. So I'm going to poke a hole. That's the center. These are the ones I did already. 2 and 3. Okay, then the ones at the top, Make sure my thing didn't move. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to flip it around and then do these as well. So make sure that's still in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's very, very hard to see on the green. I'm going to use okay, next. Still make this work. I'm going to use a Sharpie. I can feel the holes. There's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are my holes from the outside. They are hard to see, but it will give me a guide. So take this out. And I'm going to start with my first book. Okay, so this is going to be my front. I'm going to take a needle and baker's twine, and I'm going to thread it. If you have trouble with this part, a tip I've learned is that you can use a piece of tape on the end, and it will help you to feed it through. This is a little bit thicker of twine than I'm used to using, but I want to give myself a little bit of a tail and then have a long piece. Okay, so when you do your, I should have marked the inside too. Get that Sharpie back. Let's see here. Here's 1, 2, 3. 1, just a little bit. 2. Where is it? Right there. 3. And 1, 2, 3. That one's going to be hard to see. Okay. So you want to line up your book, and it's going to, I don't need that. And it's going to go each one through the hole. So you're going to go in through the middle, the center hole, in through the hole. Okay. You're going to go through. You don't want to lose this piece. So I will tuck it in there. Okay. It's about that long. So just so I don't lose it, because that's where I'm going to tie. Okay, so it went out. Then you're going to go up to the top through the hole. And because you made the hole already, it's a little easier. Okay, through the top, right here. And it comes right through. Yep. Okay. Put your book down and come back through. A wiggle. Come on. There we go. Okay. Make sure it is tight. Okay. You don't want a bunch of extra material in the inside there. Okay. Then you're going to go across the center hole to the top hole, or the bottom, depending on which way you're looking at this. Okay. But it's the, and I can feel it right there. Okay. Back out. And then you're going to go back in through the middle. Try not to go through, if you're using especially twine, try not to go back through in between your twine because it will separate it. So I like to leave myself a little bit of space so I can see, and hopefully you can see that and it's not just a mess. That it's going to go in there. Here I can see it. I'll line up my hole and it's going to go back in through. Of course, it's not going to work right now because I'm filming it. In. There it is. Okay. And then you're going to go back through the middle. There you go. You want to make them tight. And you want to make sure this, see how loose that is? You want to make it tight. So I'm going to pull this side and pull this side. Make sure that it's not hanging out. Okay. So then it is you're going to have an end on both ends with your cross piece in the middle. Okay. So I just pull it, make a knot, and then make another knot. There you go. And you can leave these as long as you want. Some people like to leave them longer and hang beads off them. Like if you wanted beads to dangle here, you can leave it long. I'm just going to trim them up. In this case, I tied it the wrong way anyway. Okay. So you always end up with a little bit of extra. This isn't the time to be super frugal if you're worried about your twine, because then it's hard to make your knot. So I always just leave it a little bit longer. Okay, so that was the first one. So there we go. That's the first one in there. Okay, I like to clip the pieces together so that it's not flopping over on me then for the next one. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. For the second signature and third signature. Nope. Nope. All right, where's my tape? I could probably just even use a little tiny piece of washi tape. Just gonna put a piece of tape on this end and roll it. I can use this for the other piece. So roll it, flatten it out, and then you can slide that right in. Should have just started that way. And then I take it off, so I'm not trying to get it through the hole. Okay, so a tail and some twine. I'm gonna go with red next, and my holes are right there. I marked them. So again, center, center, out. Whoop, see, I almost pulled that too far. Let's give this a... I'm gonna leave that on. Okay. Center. And then back in through one hole. And in through this hole. Okay. All the way through. through. Make sure you don't get a knot. Okay. Across to the next one. And through the bottom. Okay. And if that happens, you just need to pull one of the strings out. There we go. And then back in to the middle. And this one looks like it's going to go right in. Yep, right in. So you can see the little tiny tip of my needle there. I want to put this across so that I have a tail on both ends. Okay, and pull that out. Okay, then I'm going to make sure that it's tight. Okay, a knot, and then another knot. Kind of watch the way that the strings end up after your first knot, and that'll help you so that they'll lie flat. Trim that off. Trim that off. Use that for a tag or something else after. And now I have two signatures in my book so far. Okay, last one. I'm going to clip these together and then go with number 3. My washi. And my needle. Feeds it right. Oh, cannot see. Right through. Really? I made that washi too fat. Too many folds. There it goes. Okie dokie. All right. Make it so I have a little bit. Need a drink of water real quick. Okay. All right. Here we go. Last one. In through the middle. Find the middle hole. There it goes. Pull it through. Save the tail. Okay. From here. Top. And in the top. I hope you guys can see this. It's not too awkward. It's awkward for me right now to see what I'm doing. Okay. Whoops. Middle. Okay. Across. Where is my hole? Yeah, I can't find it now. This one was on the dark part of the fabric, so I don't see. There it is, where I marked it. There we go. Okay. Okay, and then back into the middle. the middle hole. It's not cooperating with me. There it is. And then find the middle of the book. There it is. Okay. Whew. And then, so there we go. That's the outside. Take this off. Pull tight. You can see it pulled tighter there. A knot. And then another knot. Because see, you see how the big loop there? So then I would just tuck this one in, since this string is already going down. If that, hopefully that makes sense. And I think I put those in not the way I wanted to, but yeah, that's okay. Okay, look at 3 signature journal. There we go. It's got a crocodile mouth. So once I put my books together, I tend to put them in, either in the book press to try and flatten. Actually, I should have did that first, so that they don't chomp that way. But this is easy to fix. We can use a clip, we can use a brad, we can use a ribbon, and that'll help tie it closed. But so far, that's what we have. So hopefully that didn't take too long. I'm not really sure how long that was. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. All right, let's do one more step. One more step. Okay, one more step. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put a hole for Brad in the back of my book. I realized I made a slight mistake because when I put these in, I wanted this center file folder to be in the middle piece so that I would have space right here. But I put it in last by mistake, but that's okay. It will still work. So I'm going to put an eyelet in there. I have these We Are Memory Keeper ones. I think I'm going to use the black chrome color. I'm going to use 2, I think. I'll bring out 2. So I'm going to go to the center, and I'm eyeballing it, to be honest. You can measure it if you want. I'll measure it. I'll measure it. I'll measure it. 6 and just more than 6 1/4. Okay, so then if I go center, I should have 3 on each side, 3 and an 1/8, 3, just a little, slightly more than 3 and an 1/8. And if I move this up to here, I can mark it. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to use my crocodile, and I'm going to punch a hole right in the center. Okay, I'm going to put my brad in so that the nice side is on the outside. Okay, and this is where it's going to close, on this side. That goes in there. I can see upside down. I cannot see upside down. There we go. And then you clamp it. And you have crocodile, a hole. Then I have some seam binding that I've crinkled, dyed and crinkled, that I'm going to put in here. So I want to make it so that it will go in through here. So you can see what I'm doing. I go in through here. Whoop, hello. I might need to use washi tape trick for this too. Yep. There we go. Okay. Washi tape. Okay. So I want this to be able to go around once, maybe twice. So that it can tie. No, sorry. I'm going to make that longer. Because this, I'm going to tie a knot here. And then I want this one to come around to the front. So that's too long. The front. And then this one's going to wrap around twice so that I can tie it like this. And then it'll help keep it closed. So I think I need, so this needs to be slightly longer. And then I'm going to tie it in a knot. I think I just need to tie it like that. And then I want to measure that. So it's going to be about, oh, so they're about the same. The same length. So I'm going to have one go this way and one go this way. And I can tie this right here. There we go. So that will help my book stay together or stay closed. And it's got a cute little closure. All right. Woohoo! So that is the journal. So now the journal is assembled. Not even close to being done. But it's a good starting point. So open this back up. And that's how that's going to look. And then I'm going to start working on some pages on the inside. So I did create these. Might as well just glue them right now. I did create these, some with pockets that I thought about sewing, and then I think I talked about it and then forgot. So I'm just going to add a little adhesive right here, and that's going to create a pocket over there. And I have to do this side. And that's our pocket. Okay. And then, so this is how this is going to look, or how it looks. Pages, one signature. Here's another one. I also did not distress any of these this time. Okay, here's the pocket. Ooh, big truck rolling down the road. Not sure if you can hear that, but it was a big old truck driving down my road. Okay. This one flaps out. Oh, this was the one that was supposed to have that piece that I mistakenly cut off. I gotta figure out what I did with it. So, but I think this is good for now. Hopefully that video is not too long for you. And then when we pick back up again, we will start doing the inside. Hopefully you guys like this and you've made a journal or two or considered it. I need to distinguish the top from the bottom on my journal. So maybe I'll do the cover next time as well. But I hope you guys had a good time. Get out your supplies and create something fun. And I will see you next time when we continue to work on Christmas in July. Here we go. Bye. Have a great night. Happy crafting, everyone.